Have you ever heard about the real upgrade of the Toyota Tacoma to the third generation? Yes, a big upgrade to a new nitro gear set has changed the Tacoma drives. Curious to know the best gears altered in it and what are the pros and cons after the re-gear? In this video, we'll share our thoughts on the latest release of Tacoma. Without further delay, let's begin. Third generation owners are all too familiar with Tacoma's horrible shifting points and lack of the power straight out of the factory. Nitro Gear has released a new set of gears that drastically altered the Tacoma's driving experience to counter this. After a year of using Nitro 5.29s, we'll offer you a detailed explanation of the pros, cons, and ugly. If you have a Tacoma, it is advisable to upgrade your gearbox, particularly if you have to put in larger tires, added extra weight, and elevated your truck. So, should we reveal the third generation factory re-gearing the Toyota Tacoma? The factory gear ratio for a third generation Tacoma V6 automatic gearbox is 3.909, while the gear ratio for the manual gearbox is 4.30. But we think at this point you might disagree. There isn't inherently a problem with the gears. Some owners swap out the factory tires for 4.88s and replace the stock gears. If you are modeling your truck, though, you will quickly see why it will require extra power. If you don't mind always being in third or fourth gear, we would say that stock gearing isn't the end of the world. It's somewhat of a bummer to have two overdrive gears, to be honest. The truck feels like it wants to run in third and fourth gear all the time as a result. As owners of Tacomas, we are aware of how underpowered and sluggish the truck feels on bigger tires. The majority of you have probably noticed the quick gear change, an abrupt increase in RPMs, and the burst of power that occurs when you press the throttle pedal. We bet you cannot deny the emotion once you become a member of the 35-inch and larger club. Most people add bigger tires and wheels first, then front and rear bumpers, a bed rack, and a roof rack. We also know that the rooftop tents, which are by no means light or aerodynamic, are a favorite among our overland group. It goes without saying that when weight increases, the drivetrain is subjected to much greater strain. And of course, all of you Tacoma guys have different choices of re-gear, but we recommend that Nitro Gear is the best throughout. But you might have a question. Why have we recommended it? Because they have, after all, been in the industry for a while. When Nitro Gear was first introduced a few years ago, it soon gained recognition and a solid reputation. They strive to provide innovative, one-of-a-kind, high-quality products for the axle and differential industry. They have a reputation for employing the highest grade supplies, emphasizing dependability and constantly expanding to meet client demands. Better materials, machining, lapping, and an efficient heating treating procedure are all promised by Nitro Gear. They work hard to make parts that are robust, quiet, and long-lasting. Every new product that is designed goes through several multi-point inspections. To provide the greatest fit and simplest setup, Nitro Gear prefers to install its devices internally if at all possible. If you want to compare the gears, 5.29s versus 4.88s, what do you predict is the best? It had the above-mentioned 20-inch wheels, 37-inch tires, and a 6-inch rough country lift on it at the time. It would be an understatement to claim a re-gear is required. It is enough to get only 11 miles per gallon. The truck didn't seem to move at all until it forced the gas pedal to the floor. It is admitted that at first, it seems a little anxious about going to 5.29s. So it was decided to find out what they had to say after spending hours exploring busy, disorganized forums full of he said, she said exchanges. ECGS suggested using 37-inch tires for the 5.29s. The thought of the high RPMs on the highway made me a little uncomfortable. Since they were installed, it can honestly be said that things are far worse than people think they are. RPMs with the 35s are in the low 2000s at 70 miles per hour, which is not bad at all. Additionally, there were improvements noticed in MPG. 4.88WE increased from starting at nitro gears, which advises performing a regular straight out of the box, NG 11 miles per gallon to about 14 by 16 depending on the circumstances. Don't you think that pays itself more quickly than you might imagine? If you believe that people running 35s and up are the only ones who need to upgrade their gear, we think you need to reconsider. Nitro Gears advises performing research straight out of the box. The guys with 4.88 scores told us they wished 5.29 scores were available when they completed their research, and it was the final factor that convinced us to choose 5.29 scores over 4.88 scores. Many users on the internet have expressed sorrow over choosing to accomplish 4.88 rather than 5.29. Everyone who had installed 4.88s that we spoke with wished they had switched to 5.29s instead. As everyone knows by now, a product can never be perfect. There must be a drawback. Are we right? Here, two things jump out as possible negatives. The cost comes first. The gears themselves vary from approximately $1,400 to $1,100 with the addition of labor. The break-in period is the second problem. It's a lengthy one, particularly if you use your vehicle for daily transportation. You should only drive your truck for 15 to 20 minutes and no more than 15 miles on the first run after installing new gear. And so what are the coolest things in the region of Tacoma? The truck runs without forcing anyone to give it gas when it is turned on and shifts into gear. When the vehicle is initially received after finishing the task, it must look like a big, pleasant surprise. We bet as soon as it is pulled out of the parking lot, it can tell the vehicle has a bit more oomph. Anyone who has been considering this mod should give it a try. So, the re-geared Toyota Tacoma is a fully different model of Toyota known for its driving after the regular combats made in it. What are your comments on that modification? What are your thoughts about the regular conversations that make it more attractive? Share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Until next time.